Welcome to another episode, everyone. A blood member defends Eric Holder, the killer of Nipsey Hussle, and says that Nipsey Hussle got himself killed. Now, some individuals are not happy with these statements that this blood member has made about the beloved Nipsey Hussle. Hell, in fact, people have lost their lives speaking about Nipsey Hussle in the wrong way and crossing out his mural and this sort of stuff here. People are still emotional about this situation. Nevertheless, some individuals say that this man is on to something, that Nipsey Hussle got himself killed when he approached Eric Holder, or Eric Holder approached him and he accused him of snitching, of being a snitch without paperwork. And of course, many other individuals say that no matter what Nipsey Hussle said, he should not lose his life for it, should not cost someone their life. Of course, that's true. But check this out. This is Snoopy Badazz. And this is the channel Witty Apparatus right here. Witty Apparatus down here. Let's see what Snoopy Badazz has to say. The title says Snoopy Badazz defends Eric Holder and goes off on Nipsey Hussle.
Do you think that the internet oversimplifies what happened by turning everything into a conspiracy theory?
Man, look it, homie. We can learn a lot from Nipsey's death, and everybody keep bouncing around the main lesson that was taught in Nipsey's death. For one, homie, you cannot be calling people a snitch with no factual paperwork or proof, bro. Nipsey repeated what he heard from somebody that was most likely scared of Eric Holder that wouldn't tell him himself. He repeated what he heard and got smoked. The end, bro. All this conspiracy, Big U set him up, bro. I don't believe none of that, bro. I don't believe Big U set him up. I don't believe the government did it. I think Nipsey Hussle was being arrogant and cocky, and he said something that he wasn't supposed to say. Like, Nipsey came off of his throne and got smoked. And the reason I say that is because for one, homie, for one, you Nipsey Hussle. This is how Nipsey Hussle was supposed to play it. Soon as he would have seen shitty, he should have been like, oh, what's up, cuz? Or whatever they do. What's up, cuz? You know what I'm saying? And took a picture with him and sent them on his way. It's no longer his duty to check paperwork to see who's a snitch and who not. You're Nipsey Hussle. You think if a snitch walked up to Snoop Dogg gonna say, I heard this paperwork on your name. Cuz hell no, Snoop gonna play bro, take a picture with you. He probably even post it, nigga, and going about his way. And if somebody come and Snoop Dogg with it, you know what Snoop Dogg gonna tell him? Well, why y'all telling me? Go handle it then.
Facts.
That's how Nipsey was supposed to handle it. He was supposed to take a picture with Eric Holder, act like everything was cool, not embarrassing him in front of his girl, because you got to really look at it from Eric Holder, have some empathy for Eric Holder for once. For one, he wasn't even a snitch. We're going to start there. There was no paperwork on Eric Holder. But two, Eric Holder was just in the car with his girl bigging up Nipsey. They bumping Nipsey music.
Yeah, and then he still turned around and took Nipsey Hussle's life. I can say that. I don't have to say alleged in this situation. He pled guilty to it, to taking Nipsey Hussle's life. He said that he did it, but it's just that it was a crime of passion or etc. Of course, he's on camera and everything else. So I don't think there's any mistaking about what happened there, who pulled the trigger. Hell, he's on camera pulling the trigger. But, I mean, it's a tough situation. I certainly get what Snoopy Badazz here is saying, and I agree with a lot of what he's saying. I just don't agree that he should have still lost his life for it. But in the streets and in the culture, that is how it goes. Regardless of who you are. Even if you have the paperwork, a dude can still take your life. Even if the dude is a snitch. I don't know this individual, Eric Holder, whether he's a snitch or not. I'm not from 60s. Apparently they say he is. They thought he was, to the point where even someone of Nipsey Hussle's stature is addressing him and confronting him about this, about being a snitch. So obviously that's the word in the hood for sure, that he's a snitch. Snoopy Badazz here says he wasn't even a snitch. There's no paperwork. Well, not having any paperwork and not being a snitch is two different things. You can still be a snitch. They just don't have the paperwork. But I don't know what the man is or is not. But nevertheless, even if an individual is a snitch and you call him out for being a snitch, even if everyone knows it, if everyone sees a picture, he still doesn't want to hear it. These individuals be in denial a lot of times. These dudes that went 50-50 in pieces, they still think they gangsters. So even if he is a snitch, he don't want to hear it. He still think he's a killer and a gangster. He's still one of them guys. Only in his head, though. Everyone else says, you're cooked now because you a snitch. But in his head, he's still a gangster. So when you call him a snitch, even though he is, yeah, he can lose it because he's still a killer. He's still a gangster. He can still pull that trigger. I mean, you calling me a snitch, especially in front of my girl. I did see the interview with the lady that was there in the car with Eric Holder, saying that she was happy to see him, Nipsey Hussle. She ran up to Nipsey Hussle to take a picture. I remember seeing this. She went up to ask for a picture, and they had taken a picture in the whole nine. You can see her going back to her car. She walking away. But Eric Holder is still right there engaged in this conversation with Nipsey. And I too, at the end of the day, the feds, of course, Big U has a RICO, has an indictment, and is in federal custody as we speak, has been there for over a year or so. And the feds have said that after an investigation that Big U had nothing to do with Nipsey Hussle's death. The feds are looking to cook Big U, as we know. They come in with superseding indictments, extra charges on this individual constantly. They have him in there for a murder. They've been following him for years and investigating him for years, Big U. They have certainly investigated this situation with Nipsey Hussle, even since Big U has been in there. If they thought that there was any connection there, if they can put that on Big U, they would have done it. And they have investigated it and said the same thing Snoop is saying, basically. Big U may have wanted him dead. He may have been envious of him and all this other stuff people be saying. Who knows? But as far as having something to do with it on that day, what happened on that day, the feds say no, that this was Eric Holder acting alone after an investigation. So everything that we saying is just speculation in our heads. After they have done a thorough investigation and said there are no ties to Big U in that particular situation on that particular day, that it really was a situation, a heat of the moment. Those two individuals got into it, and Eric Holder did what he did. He could have heard the day before. Him and Big U could have been kicking and smoking a blunt. Big U, I wish Nipsey was dead. I want to kill him myself or whatever. Things could have been in his head, but as far as what happened on that day, some of it could have been driven by what's already in his head. Would he hear outside noise? Oh man, F Nipsey, this and that. But for the most part, it's Nipsey disrespecting him as far as he was concerned, calling him a snitch, not only in front of his girl, but in front of everyone else that was standing right there. 4 or 5 dudes standing right there. And I also agreed, and I always say the same thing about Tupac. That's something that Tupac should not have been involved in. What's the point of getting rich, of being successful, famous, of making it, and you still got to do this sort of stuff? You still got to get your hands dirty. Someone snatched someone's chain. Why is Tupac going to fight the dude? Or punch on him and stump him out and all that? I know what happened there. I know Pac was just, still trying to prove himself, basically. Want to be one of the guys, want to prove that he's a rider, this and that, but you're not a gang member, bro, and you're doing this to a gang member. Certain gang politics that they're just not going to let that slide. But as big as Death Row was, Suge Knight got all these killer Mob Piru individuals that he got doing all kind of stuff out here for him. How come they couldn't go take care of that with Baby Lane? Someone else. No, hold on, Pac. No. You stay right there. You go get him. Why is Tupac, your main artist, the one that's why is he doing this stuff? Why is he riding in the front car with no security? In the front, of everyone in a car, and everyone is trailing him.
He was big enough.
And they would say that she was going crazy.
Man, look, he was big enough. He like, y'all from 6-0, Nipsey my nigga too. Nipsey my nigga too. That's the homie, cuz. Eric Holder probably was popping it. Then when they put up the scene, his girl was on him. Oh yeah, man, we can go over there and get a picture. Then he walk up on Nipsey and Nipsey say that Nipsey was wrong. Why can't nobody just keep it real? And I love Nipsey. I respect Nipsey, but he was wrong. You don't never disrespect a man in front of his kids, his mama, or his girl, bruh. You don't ever do that, bro. You don't never do that. You're Nipsey Hussle, bro. If anybody else would have said, he probably wouldn't even care, but you're Nipsey Hussle. He just bigged you up to his girl, bro. You couldn't even look at homie. If Nipsey Hussle could have at least gave Eric the decency of pulling him to the side. Like, hey, let me holler at you, cuz. And it's, hey man, I don't think Eric would have killed him. Because he could have went back and told his girl, oh yeah, man, he about to pull it. Could have lied and said anything just to smooth it over. But you flat out told him this in front of his girl, bro. That's why he came back and smoked Nipsey. There is no conspiracy theory. Nipsey humiliated him in front of that girl, bro. About something that came out to not even be true. The man ain't even a rat.
That's crazy, man.
That's why Nipsey got smoked. And y'all keep bouncing around. Oh, he was jealous of Nipsey. But he wasn't jealous. I would never believe that. Because if he's jealous of Nipsey, he wouldn't have been bumping him. He wouldn't have went over there and said, if he was jealous of Nipsey, he would have just walked over there and smoked him. He wouldn't have walked over there and said nothing to him. He went over there and greeted Nipsey. He greeted Nipsey. Hey, what's up, man? Well, Nipsey disrespected him. Why can't people see that?
Now, okay, with that being said, do you think that Eric Holder deserves the backlash that he's received from a lot of different, platforms?
According to the
different
streets,
people?
no. According to the streets, Eric did nothing wrong.
Did you hear about the bus incident for going from court or whatever?
But what?
Like they alleged, well, there's a legend, there was a rumor that, he was in the back of the court or the back of the bus. They had him locked up individually and everybody started throwing stuff at him or something like that.
It says Nipsey was loved. Just because Nipsey got fans and people support him doesn't mean that Nipsey was right. That's just how the culture is. We ride. We are in a DK riding culture. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's about who the public likes. A person the public likes can be always in the wrong. The public is gonna back him. We're in a riding culture, Whitty. It's not about right or wrong no more. It's about who the person likes.
That is very true, man.
And that's what Eric is going through. He killed somebody that everybody liked, disrespect him, and he treated that person that everybody liked like he would treat everybody else, and it's just messed up. That's what happened. But Nipsey was wrong, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Eric could, what they gonna say? He should have went over there, asked for a fade, and got packed out by the group Nipsey riders. His feelings was hurt. Nipsey hurt Eric Holder's feelings, bro. Can you imagine how that feel to walk up to somebody you look up to and admire with your girl? You bump his music all the time and he call you a rat in front of your girl, or even ask you something like that and you ain't even a rat? How would that, come on, bro, put yourself in his shoes. He was hurt, bro. And that's how some people deal with hurt. Some people will walk away, never come back. Some people will come back, don't care about getting packed out and fighting. And some people's gonna come back and kill you, bro.
Yeah, it's
Stop calling people rats, bro, with no proof, with half paperwork or no paperwork. Stop doing that, bro. I watched everybody in the industry call Eric Holder a rat when he was.
I don't know. I've never heard anybody call him a rat, but again, I'm not from over there in that area particularly, but there's still no excuse. He could have just, took a fight with Nipsey, give me a head up squabble, whatever. But I agree with a lot of what Snoop is saying. It could have been handled differently on Nipsey Hussle's part. He could have put him to the side or really just not said anything, period. At the end of the day, you're on a whole nother level. You're a celebrity, you're rich, getting rich. You got big plans. You're not sitting around some hood just doing nothing anymore. Man, forget this dude. He's still in the hood just carrying guns and doing all this nonsense. Not that you're better than him, but you're trying to do better. So it's at this point, you're not even involved in that. You still from 60s, you still a joint over there and all of that. But some stuff you have to tell yourself, I'm not doing anymore. I'm not putting myself in these positions anymore. This is for y'all to do. I did that when I was growing up. I did that when I was younger. This is for y'all, this generation, to be out here pressing these dudes and all that. I'm on some whole other shit over here. I'm trying to improve the hood, get money for everyone over here, get businesses and all that. I'm on some more. I shouldn't have to be over here getting my hands dirty over here. I'm over. Y'all should be taking care of this to protect me, to make sure I'm good, if anything. So yeah, no, I agree that Nipsey should not have said anything. Hell, it's 4 or 5 other dudes out there from 60s. Cowboy, Ren Paul, kind of his OG homie that just got out. That's why Nipsey was over there giving him some clothes. How come none of them pressed him? Why has Nipsey got to do it? And then, yeah, his feelings was hurt, bro. He was upset. He was angry. And he may be a snitch. I mean, I don't know. And Snoop keeps saying that he's not. I have no idea about this individual, as I said. But even if he is a snitch, doesn't mean that he's still not a killer. There'd be some killers that end up turning snitches, that turn bad. They can't take it. And they turn snitches. But they still pull that trigger. They still pull a trigger.
One. Just because they liked Nipsey Hussle. That's weak. Because Nipsey was in the wrong. He could have put him to the side and did that. And that's what the culture need to learn. Watch your mouth and stop repeating what you heard, because it can get you knocked off, bro. That's the lesson the culture need to learn, brother.
Now, what you're saying is pretty much true, but if we're gonna hold Nipsey to a standard, you gotta hold it to a standard.
What's the standard?
He had no right to go and kill that man over just that. Then
that's the street code. Nipsey, like I said, Nipsey stepped off his throne. Where Nipsey was at, he was never supposed to even be playing the street code. You already didn't pass that level. You came back down to play street code, and according to the street code, if somebody call you a rat and you're not, they supposed to knock you down. It don't change just because it's Nipsey, bro. Nipsey shouldn't have stepped in the arena, my nigga. See, you playing the bias game too. Because you said when he shouldn't have killed them. Well, Nipsey shouldn't have played the game. You played the game, so you mad. So you can't get mad when you grab the football and jump on the field and get tackled. Like I told you, Nipsey wasn't supposed to even say nothing about that. He was supposed to be the superstar he was, see him all the sucker, nigga lock C's ends with him or whatever, then take a picture with him and post it. And if somebody had something to say, well, you do something, then later on, it would have came out the boy ain't even a rat. Because you wanna go and say it, you're not here no more, bro. That was Nipsey's fault, bro. I don't know. For one, you wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. That's that. We're gonna start there. For two, you shouldn't even be playing street code, nigga. You a whole mogul millionaire and you're screwing Lord London every night. Boy, if you don't go sit your famous clean ass down somewhere, you talk about some paperwork, folk. So you stepped off of your clean throne into the mud and got stuck, nigga. You wasn't even supposed to say nothing. That's not your business no more. You got a gang of 60s that's running around there. It's over 2,000 60s in that area that could have handled that, bro. You wasn't supposed to say nothing to that man. You were supposed to treat him like a homie, bro. Especially with you knowing you ain't seen no paperwork, because Nipsey ain't seen no paperwork. Because if he seen it, it'd be out right now. You were supposed to shake that man's hand, take a picture with him, wop, and let him go on about his way and let him go feeling good. Told you, so he could brag to his girl in the car. Told you Nipsey know me, told you Nipsey know me. And let him have his little accolades for the night, my nigga. But you tried to humiliate him and it cost you your life. And I love Nipsey, but we have to tell the truth, bro. This culture need a cleansing, bro. And I gotta tell the truth, bro. We not sweeping that under the rug. Nipsey is here because he called somebody a snitch that wasn't a snitch. He repeated what he heard from a hater, a hater is somebody that was really scared of Eric Holder. That's what happened, and he got killed. Something all of these YouTubers and bloggers do, repeat what they heard.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's an interesting conversation, of course, one that can go on and on for some time. No matter what you say or how you feel, some other people are going to feel how they feel about Nipsey Hussle's death. Of course, some people, no matter what you say and how you say it, are going to believe that Big U has something to do with it, one way or another. Period. I've heard that so many times in so many different ways that that's just what it is. People are going to believe that. And some people are going to believe, like I believe, that it happened right. I've said the same thing multiple times, that I don't believe Big U had anything to do with it. He may not have liked Nipsey, don't care that he's dead, all of that. But he sent Eric Holder to do that. It just didn't seem like it. It seemed like he went over there, because if that's the case, how come Eric Holder didn't have the gun as soon as he went over there? Why did he have to go back to the car and get the gun and then go back and kill him? How come he didn't, as soon as he got out of the car, he had his gun with him and went over there and went up and did what he had to do from the beginning? Why is there even a conversation without your weapon? If you were going over there to kill him, why are you going over there talking to him and then have an argument or whatever, be accused of being a rat, and then go and get your gun and come back and kill him? If you were over there to kill him from the beginning. Nevertheless, either way, I mean, I'm not a fucking detective. Either way, I mean, if I'm being honest, Snoopy Badazz makes a lot of sense. I've said the same thing myself. Nipsey should not have been confronting that individual. I've said the same thing about Tupac. Once you get to a certain level, damn all that proving yourself and being involved, because that's basically what it can come down to. It can be looked at as, Nipsey still trying to show that he's tough and that he's down, that he's really, he's a 6'0" and still a real member. I don't want no snitches around me. Get your snitch ass from over here. Or whatever. But it's like, that, like Snoop said, though, coming from Nipsey, had it came from someone else, it might be like, man, whatever. But coming from Nipsey, like this dude accusing me of being a rat, it was too much for him to bear. And yeah, as far as Nipsey not being over there and all that, that's where his store is at. He's still in the hood. That's where his store is at. He should better be over there. He should just be protected over there. He should be protected over there at all costs, at all times. He should have been well protected. So it really shouldn't have happened. Someone should have saw him coming back, sneaking back over there, whatever. Should have had weapons out there in defense of Nipsey and gunned him down before he had a chance to gun Nipsey down. If that's the case. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Snoopy Badazz there says that Nipsey Hussle is to blame. Only has himself to blame for his death. That he humiliated Eric Holder in front of his girl. We heard it. And that's what caused his death. Nothing else. No conspiracy theories, no nothing. He disrespected this man. He felt humiliated. And he came back and did what he did. And as far as him saying that that's the street code, I mean, that pretty much is the truth. It just so happens Eric Holder said, I don't care who it is. I'm going to uphold your street code. That you calling me a snitch and you don't have any paperwork and I'm not a snitch, then yeah, I have to do something about it, because obviously, saying that I'm a snitch puts my life in danger. You can put my life in danger. You are putting my life in danger by calling me a snitch. So I'm going to put your life in danger then, or take your life. It's tough, man. I wish it wouldn't have happened. Nipsey still should not have lost his life behind it, man. No one deserves to lose their life, though. Your whole life is going over some words. It's no coming back once you're gone over some words. Fuck this street code. Fuck all this shit, man. It don't mean nothing. There's no real street code these days anyway. I do wish myself Nipsey just would have stayed out of it, like I wish Tupac would have stayed out of it. He shouldn't have to have done nothing. And that's it. If somebody did take the death row chain, if they took the death row chain from Suge Knight, so what? Y'all got goons for this. This is what y'all got all these dudes on the payroll for. These beefy chest tattooed killers carrying weapons around with y'all everywhere y'all go. They take care of their stuff. You don't fight no one. You don't go attacking anyone, not a gang member and all that. No. Because it's the same thing with Tupac. Orlando Anderson. Baby Lane, he had too much pride. Same thing. He was humiliated. He wasn't called a snitch, but he was humiliated, stumped out, beat up in a casino in front of everyone. And it was too much for him. Oh, this dude gonna stump me out. No. These dudes gonna go get a weapon, bro, and squeeze. In that sort of situation. Had Baby Lane been by himself, it may have been different. But since it happened in front of everyone, in front of his homies and all that, uncles and all, he getting stumped out and beat up by Tupac. It's like, no, I'm not going for that. That's just, once you get to a certain level, not that you're too good to get your hands dirty, but yeah, perhaps so. You should not be getting your hands dirty anymore. You paved the way. You've already done your work to get to where you're at now. You did all that already. It's time for someone else to step in and do this sort of stuff. You on a whole nother level. Riding around in Maybachs and Rolls Royces. I'm at the Grammys. I'm dressing up in 3-piece suits. I have the most beautiful women in the world. Got millions in the bank. Everybody know I'm not out here fighting some dude on the street corner from a gang talking about because he snitched. Oh, well, if he is snitch, he may be. How come no one has done anything about it? Out of all of the rolling 60s, out of all of the rolling 60 Crips, Nipsey's the one that got to do something about it. 10,000 individuals from rolling, but Nipsey's the one that got to do something about him being a snitch? No, hell no. If he's a snitch, all these young riders, they got all these young YNs, all these young killers, all these individuals out in the hood vlogs with these big old weapons and all that. How come they haven't confronted him and done something about him being a snitch? How come Nipsey has to confront the situation? How come, if not on that day, before then? How come someone else hasn't taken care of the fact that this dude is a snitch? To the point it has to come on Nipsey's table, on Nipsey's door, and he had to confront this individual about it. No way. Crazy, man. I don't know, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Rest in peace of Nipsey Hussle. Stay safe and stay free, people.